let's get started. So we're just going to introduce ourselves real quick. We are your Magnify team. Pretty much all of you have gotten to talk to us at this point. Ari, if you don't mind, if you go to the next slide. Thank you. So we're going to introduce ourselves first. And so my name's John. I'm a rising sophomore studying business with a minor in food and sustainability. And we are going to highlight our top strengths that we're going to be sharing with you today. So my top strength I'm going to be sharing with you is kindness.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ari Adler. My top strength is perspective, and I just want to thank everyone for being here.
Hi, everyone. Eric Caden, and I'm a rising junior BBA and political science student, and I'd like to share my strength of honesty.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Monsi. I'm also a rising junior BBA, and my top strength is love.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Juliana. I'm a rising senior. I'm studying communication and media studies, and my top strength is love of learning. So now we're going to move on to some tech tips on our Zoom. Perfect. So the chat bar, as many of you know, because so many of you have used it already, is on the bottom screen here. And we're going to be using the rename feature. If you came to our lunch and learn a couple days ago, you're probably familiar with it. But we are going to rename with one word of celebration today, kind of like was mentioned in our first hour of our session. This is our routine in Magnify that we do every single day. It keeps us positive. It keeps us going. And just another side note is that if you're unable to rename for any reason, you can just pop your celebration in the chat. And we'll be looking at the chat the entire time in case any questions come up or anything needs to be addressed. And another side note is that if you need to raise your hand or talk to us at any time, we will be here. So let's go ahead and kick it off with those celebrations. And I'm going to pass it to Ari.
Thanks, Juliana. So just quickly want to talk about kind of an overview for today's session. So we will first be talking about the methodology that we use to conduct our field research, and then relate it back to the positive organizational psychology that we have been studying in the Magnify classroom. We're then going to talk about some insights that we have taken out from our field research with you all, and talk about some suggestions that we have and some things that we've noticed, particularly as it relates to the Positive Energizer program. And then I have generative questions there on the slide. So just after we talk about the insights, we'll kind of look towards the future. And what we try to do in Magnify is magnify what's going well and the good, and then figure out how we can extend that even more. So we'll post some generative questions to you all at the end, then go through a couple conclusion exercises, and hopefully if everything goes according to plan, we'll have a few minutes at the end to answer some questions and talk further. I believe Eric next is going to talk specifically about the methodology that we used.
Yes, thank you, Ari. So over the past 3 weeks, we've been graciously provided the opportunity to interview so many wonderful, shining faces here. And so we've been able to interview people all across business and finance, ranging from UHR, SSC, communications, HR team, facilities and operations. And over 11 official days, we were able to interview 6+ departments for a total of 15 combined hours spread out across 14 interviews, totaling 55 wonderful employees. And so from this, we were able to provide a wonderful artifact for all of you, which here you can see everyone's smiling, bright, happy faces. We thought this was a wonderful gift of happiness, and can just show our appreciation for all the time that you spent with us. And so from this, you may have seen or heard some of these questions, and we figured that these would be great questions to share with you guys. And I'm sure you've heard these questions that we asked of you, such as, what was a high point of working at BNF? What are some major points for resilience? And such as, what has shifted in the work environment? These are all just great questions to keep up whenever you're holding an own interview by yourself, within your own teams, or just to see how people are doing. It never hurts to ask. So I think next is Juliana.
Like Eric mentioned, we have several insights from BNF, but we have 3 that we're going to focus on. So the first is the BNF flourishing triangle. As you guys have probably noticed, Magnify loves metaphors. So we made one specific to BNF. And this is our BNF garden. And this is referred to by Jane Dutton and our teaching team and our Magnify classroom all the time. But the idea behind this metaphor is that we want an organization that thrives and flourishes and not one that is languishing. And in this illustration, BNF is the trunk of the tree, so it's the base. The employees are the leaves. The grass is the positive deviance that permeates the organization. And the fences represent sides of the flourishing triangle. And each of these represent a flourishing and thriving business and finance. So in order for business and finance to thrive at its optimal level, it's important that the BNF tree be centered in equilibrium of all 3 parts of this flourishing triangle, or the flourishing fences. And this is only one of the frameworks that we use to analyze business and finance through our interviews and all of your wonderful responses to our questions. And just a little spoiler, this is not the last time you will see this image, so it will come up again. And now I'm going to pass it to Monsi.
Yes, thank you, Juliana. So first, I just want to explain a quick concept before diving into our first insight. So this is a spectrum that shows different states of an organization, and what most organizations try to fix problems and make an organization go from negative to neutral or problem-free state. Magnify and POS actually focuses on moving from neutral to a positive state. And the space between 0 and the plus sign is called an abundance gap. So today we are going to be giving some insights on how to fill those abundance gaps specifically for BNF. So moving from 0 to a positive is like making an organization move from good to great. But in the case of BNF, I think it's safe to say that we would really be making BNF move from from great to absolutely superb. I think BNF is doing a fantastic job of already implementing so many positive practices. So moving to the next slide, I have another framework that we use in addition to the triangle that Juliana explained is called the social architecture framework of thriving. So clearly this is BNF. There are stars literally all across the board. However, we can see that some stars are bigger than others, and today we want to focus on this intersection between networks and positive meaning, and networks and routines and positive meaning as well. So moving to the next slide, just to highlight the great things that BNF is already doing. You all have a fantastic culture. You all implement gratitude practices, dance parties, and coffee chats to help build these positive relationships, which moves to the next point. And all of you are very open and honest with each other, and these relationships that you've formed both professionally and personally are mutually beneficial. And then the roles of positive energizers are like no other. I cannot believe that you all have already implemented this program, and it has been such a success. So just having positive energizers is a huge advantage. So now I'm going to turn it to Ari, who will be talking about the second insight or a recommendation that we have for these 2 abundance gaps.
Great, thank you, Monsi. What our team created is what we call a Padlet, and I hope everybody can see that now. So a Padlet is actually something we use in our Magnify classroom, and it's essentially a virtual bulletin board that positive energizers can implement within their specific divisions. And I just want to walk through some of what is included here. As you can see, I made the background everybody's beautiful smiling faces. So I made this kind of prototype of a Padlet as a resource specifically within positive energizers. So you can see in this leftmost column here, I have some resources regarding the 90-90 challenge. So a message from Kevin that was given at the beginning. And then we have here our week by week breakdown where you can see all the beautiful work that our positive energizers are doing. Celebration down here. So within a Padlet, you can link to videos, files, and then also I uploaded some resources from our Dropbox here. So we have all of our activities that positive energizers engage in. And then I added this, the latest from Positive Energizers across BNF column here, just to kind of demonstrate that a resource like this can be used as a forum type of thing. So anybody can add a comment or a new thread by clicking that plus button right there. And people can respond to what people have written and also like. So right here, I uploaded our Humans of M Healthy trailer that the guys over at M Healthy have been doing, and linked to our Positive Energizers Facebook workplace. And then I actually will, when I'm done explaining this, share a link into the chat, and I'll make sure that Priya has this link so that everybody can have access to it. But we also have some lessons that we've brought to you, hopefully in a pretty concise way here. And on the right here is another kind of positive resource that we have implemented in our Magnify classroom, but a wishing wall. So, right now it's populated with the 5 of us and the wishes that we have for you as we part after this, but hopefully we can see this start to fill up. And if you decide to implement a Padlet within your organization, we can, maybe a wishing wall is a nice thing to do. Let's see here. I want to make sure I covered everything about this. But so, one of the insights that we have gathered from working with you all is that visuals are a very helpful way to spread information. And as the team was receiving resources about all the wonderful things that Positive Energizers are doing, we thought about how can we lay out these resources in maybe a more visual way, in a way that is a little bit more interactive. And also, a lot of the Positive Energizers that we talked about kind of a struggle to communicate at times, particularly with employees that don't use email, right? Especially during these times. How do you communicate with employees that don't use email? So we also see a Padlet type of resource is a resource that can be implemented within specific divisions. And I believe this can also be exported into a PDF poster that can be used for to be displayed in an office or something. So I'll go ahead and stop my share real quick right now. And I'm going to pass it over to Juliana real quick, who's going to talk about some resources that she's created.
Yes, thank you, Ari. So just to recap and reiterate a little bit, this Padlet is meant to address the goal of increasing effective broad-scale communication to close the abundance gap between routines and work meaning, which is one of the smaller stars on that graph that we saw. And it's really not only to reach those who don't use email, for example, but to have a one-stop shop for all things PE related. And instead of having an inbox in a workplace, having all those links in one place so that they're really easy to find. So moving on a bit, we already touched on the visual aspect a bit, and a lot of the resources that we got, they're wonderful. We love how much resource and how much time and effort has been put in to the PE initiative and the MBOX and everything. But there may be a better way to make information more succinct and easier to understand on a universal scale. So we already talked about how BNF has all the resources for thriving already. Everybody's super engaged. The Making Blue Go mission is prevalent in every single aspect of BNF. And like we said, the PE initiative comes with so many resources. And there's kind of an information overload. So that's kind of where the Padlet and this new idea comes in together to be able to learn and process things in a new way. So Ari, if you could please change the slide. We go from 3 pages of huge paragraphs into 1. This is like where I started, kind of was like this metaphor. How do we build in a metaphor? How do we visualize what we want BNF to do? So We have the BNF Garden of Thriving again. We have a little apple, which is the thriving. We have the BNF positive energizers as the sun. We have the tree that grows towards the sun because the PEs really are the magnets of the organization. We've heard that so many times. And then the second picture, sorry, if you could do the honors again, thank you. So we started with the base, and then we need to be like, okay, how do we explain this? How do we make every single employee who looks at this understand what POS is, what positive energizers do, and what the goal within BNF is, all in one place, super easy to understand with a visual and with a metaphor. So the goal here is to make things stick. And we talked about this so much earlier today in class, the power of visual thinking, the power of metaphors, and just some highlights from this graphic. I'm sorry if you guys can't read anything. We have this document to share with you later as well if you would like it. There's the Scientists of Thriving, Kim Cameron, Jane Dutton, and Barbara Fredrickson, highlighted through these, which are all names that were in your guys' resources already, but now they're just connected to specific concepts. And the Flourishing Triangle fence are the concepts that relate directly to PEs and their initiative. So this positive emotion, keeping the positivity ratio high, which we talked about in class today as well. Keeping those positive, high quality connections, which is something the PEs do already, creating that positive meaning through job crafting. Like these PEs, they don't only hold their formal role, they are there to be energized and to energize other people. So we also talk about the positive deviance, heliotropic effect, which is the interaction between PEs and BNF as a whole, and thriving, which, like I said, was the apple. So like all things in Magnify, this the effectiveness of this process of metaphors and visualization is research-based and scientifically backed. So if you could do the honors again to change the slide, Ari, thank you. So we read an article that really marked all of us because this is something we had never heard of before. It's the 3 Silver Bullets for Making Change Stick by Rich Behrens, who is the CEO and founder of a company called Root. In it, there's a quote that says, "Say it with words and you're lucky if they'll hear it or bother to read it. Tell your story with imagery and it grabs your attention, evokes emotion, and is more instantly processed." So as we can see on the slide here, 93% of communication is nonverbal. 83% of people, my slide disappeared. Okay, 83% of people learn visually, and then just all these things that come in with the big picture and simplifying ideas in order to dive in deeper later, having this one place to look at, to then use all those other resources to dive into each aspect more deeper. And this is a place, like we created this resource, but this is a place where we can see another idea that we're going to show very soon. The student intern program can come in. Students are creative. They bring in so many good ideas, and you can probably find so many to come in and be positive energizers and create these visuals if this is something that BNF would like to implement in the future. So all of these are like, this visual idea is a very tiny detail and a very tiny aspect of the PE initiative, but it's these tiny things like we talked about before that really unlock even more resources for thriving and potential within BNF just by having some user-friendly methods of communication that nearly everybody can understand. So now I'm going to pass it to John for our third and final insight.
Thank you so much, Juliana. So in working to fill the gap between positive work meeting and networks in business and finance, as seen in the social architecture of thriving that we shared earlier, and to further magnify the strengths of your guys' fantastic organization, we realized that we could do so by integrating your fantastic team with the University of Michigan student body. We would like to propose a student internship program. Not only will this allow you to see firsthand appreciation for the work that you do, it will also give you an opportunity to tap the creative talent here at the university to make more communications like the one that Juliana just showed us. Who knows? You could have a ton of Julianas come to work for you. In addition to bringing students into your work, we would also suggest integrating them into your positive energizer program. Integrating them into your BNF experience could provide much needed access to feedback from students and also give you the opportunity to educate students on what you do and how incredible it is. I made a video to highlight what this program will entail. So Ari, if you'd be so kind as to play it in the Padlet.
Hi there. Over the past weeks, we have had the pleasure to work with you and learn about your experiences in business and finance. Although we know our time with you has only provided a glimpse into the vastness of BNF, we have been using our roles as students and field researchers to analyze or code our findings from the interviews. We have used our POS knowledge to tap into the strengths and abundance gaps in your organization. Our aim in this presentation is to simultaneously amplify BNF's strengths and also fill these gaps. The work you do props up the entire University of Michigan student experience, but as many of you informed us, you never get to interact with these students. The two words that classified many of our conversations with you were an enthusiastic "what's next?" We believe that the next step is integrating your department with the students you have supported for so long. So that's why we are suggesting a student internship program, a program in which undergraduate students can come and work for the business and finance department and allow you to see the impact your work has on the student body. Tapping into the tremendous amount of student creative talent here at the university, we hope to integrate their talent into creating new, visually enhanced means of communication and streamlining teamwork. Increasing the amount of data and communications that are accompanied and enhanced by visuals will allow business and finance to operate more efficiently and communicate changes more effectively. In addition to having students help in the office with business and finance tasks, an interesting opportunity could be to hire students as positive energizers. This will boost interaction with students and provide opportunities for student feedback. We hope that these ideas start a conversation for you and they help answer the question of what's next for business and finance. Thank you all for working with us, and we hope to see you on campus in the fall.
Thank you. I'm going to put the link for that video in the chat so all of you can have access to it for yourself. We really want other students to be able to see the powerful work that you do. Like we got to see it when we got to talk with you over the past couple weeks. I'm going to pass it to Ari to talk about some generative questions.
Great, thanks, John. That was a really, really special video. I'm really going to quickly try to share my screen again, pull up the slides. Hopefully we can see that now. So one thing that we emphasize a lot in Magnify is forming high quality connections and thinking about the future with generative questions, which really tend to open our minds to future thought. So the team has just kind of brainstormed, a couple of generative questions that we think that would be just as examples and also might be helpful to, especially for positive energizers, to consider. So what motivates you to cultivate an environment of thriving in your organization, kind of tapping into our work meaning? What insights from Magnify can be realistically adapted to fit business and finance? What routines can I implement to unlock resources for thriving, like gratitude exercises or celebrations? Hopefully we have enough time, but if we could go use that chat function. So at the bottom of your screen, you should see a chat icon, and just kind of brainstorm those questions for a little bit and type in what you are thinking into that chat section, just so we can get an idea for what we're thinking of. So I'll keep these questions up, and then we'll go ahead, maybe take a couple minutes, and then we'll go over some of those answers.
Just to kind of add on to what Ari has been saying, these are questions for now, but also things that can be implemented in BNF, the forums, and all the employee get-togethers, because these are exactly the types of tools that we use in our class to make sure that we're consistently growing and learning together.
All right, it was fun to watch this chat populate, and one of the the reasons that we like using the chat in Magnify, and one of the benefits of it is, I believe, with the Zoom recording, the chat gets saved. So maybe we'll even be able to populate some responses here and keep those saved as a resource. But also, the Magnify team was able to look at the Facebook workplace group and see all the great things that you're doing. So, but this Zoom chat is also really fun to watch. It's hard to summarize all of these great insights here. Let's see, just to touch on a couple. Also, if anybody has anything that they want to talk about, that just because the chat was so populated, feel free to just unmute yourself. We'll probably take the next couple minutes just to kind of read people's comments. So feel free to interrupt me if you have any.
Just real quick, Ari, if anyone would like to talk, there's the raise hand function. It's a great way for me to see that that you would like to talk, and I'll be paying attention to that. Back to you, Ari. Okay, great. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of kind of positive reactions to incorporating students into your work, just to add to that positive meaning. Yeah, the positive Energizer internship incorporated with the DEI initiative, Chris, exposing BNF staff to underrepresented groups via an internship program would help staff see the benefits of a diverse workforce, and students from underrepresented groups see the opportunities available at the university. Yeah. One thing that we talked about in one of our interviews was actually thinking about what the DE&I stand for, and not just thinking of it as a program, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really kind of trying to look at each one of those components and incorporating that into our work. So, forming a diverse workforce can mean a lot of different things. One of them is perhaps engaging with students and including students. So let's see, what else? Anyone have anything? Do we have any raise hand function? Raise it hands Magnify team?
Nope, not.
No, we do not. We have a thumbs up from Priya.
Thanks, Priya. All right, so I'm gonna pass it. I believe John is gonna summarize some of the insights that we've talked about, and I hope I didn't get that wrong. But John, are you?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. So just to summarize some of the findings and what we shared with you today, business and finance is doing fantastic things right now. It's just a matter of tweaking what is already there. Deep change is not needed. We'd like to emphasize that. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Business and finance is doing incredible work that we really want you to have the opportunity to share it with the students that you have supported for so long. And hopefully implementing some of the practices that we shared with you today, we hope that you enhance your already fantastic communication and your community with new energy and skills. The addition of visuals, we hope, will help solve some of the communication issues that we collected from all of you. And concentrating things in the visual learning space of the Padlet, we hope will also help smooth out some of that early confusion that we heard from you guys. So we are going to move on to a rename activity. This is a little different than the rename that I like to do with a lot of you, which was the vending machine question, which took everything I had not to do it again. But so what we're going to be doing is renaming to someone in business and finance who has made a great and positive impact on you. And if you'd like to elaborate in the chat on if you'd like to share with the entire group what they did, we would love to hear it. We have heard from so many people that, as we mentioned in the culture teach out in class, everyone in your organization does such a fantastic job at picking each other up when they're down and really giving each other a hand. We'd love to hear some of those stories, but we'd love to see everyone renamed to somebody else while keeping your original name. There are just so many incredible things popping in the chat right now. It's great to see so much gratitude. The attitude of gratitude in the chat right now is really, really inspiring. So just as a final word, we want to express our gratitude to you. Thank you all so very much for working with us and coming on this journey with us over the past couple weeks. We have learned so much. We've gained such an appreciation for everything that you do that we didn't know before. And we're really excited to share this with all of our friends when we get back in the fall. And we're really looking forward to come and see you all in the fall. Don't think we won't come and stop by. I'm coming for that caramel popcorn. That's me personally, but thank you all so much. We really, really appreciate everything that you've done so far. Thank you. And I'm going to pass it to Monty for questions.
Yeah, so just to echo a little bit about what John said, this past 4 weeks and meeting so many of you has been such a highlight, even during these changed circumstances. I cannot express it enough. No matter what time our little calls were, 8 a.m., 2 p.m., whatever they were, we had a fantastic time talking to all of you, and we really hope that our recommendations and the learnings that we've had in Magnify can help BNF in every single way possible. So I just wanted to leave the last 5 or 10 minutes or so of this session for any questions that anyone has, anything you would like us to elaborate on, or anything like that. Feel free to type in the chat, to raise your hand, or to just simply unmute yourself and say anything you would like.
We saw some great questions coming in throughout the presentation, and if we did have a chance to answer them fully enough, we'd love to hear them. If you could unmute and ask, that'd be fantastic.
I have a question. This is Amy. I wondered if you could tell us one or two biggest surprises you had in this work, during your time in BNF.
Me personally, getting to hear about how business and finance is the backbone of everything that we interact with every day. We had no clue as a collective that what you do supports everything, all of the university's operations, to structuring bonds. Just nuts. So cool for us to see. Getting to talk with everyone from like Kevin to being able to come in on the team meetings in the morning, which were a blast. Just getting to see how big BNF is compared to what we knew as just normal students.
Definitely, to everything John said, big yes. But I was also surprised about the impact that POS has everywhere, and that it's limitless. Doesn't matter what position anybody is in, it doesn't matter the department, doesn't matter who they interact with. If there's a PE there, if they are exposed to these ideas and like this positive energy, they have been positively impacted by it. And that's just amazing to see how it's timeless. It's something that really contributes to a positive work environment, no matter how spread out the departments are, no matter how many employees there are within BNF. It's like the one uniting factor, even if you don't all know each other.
Yeah, just to also add to this, I guess my surprise has to do most with the 90-90 challenge. And I guess, to be honest, when we were first learned about the 90-90 challenge, I thought there's no way that you can reach these many people in this short a period of time. And you guys blew it out of the park. So I think that's been the biggest surprise, is how when you can form a group of positive energizers that really care about their work and are motivated to reach others, that you can really do amazing things. And it's like, when we first came in, we thought, okay, we're going to help them kind of reach the 90-90 goal. And you guys have done that. So we've gotten to even go above and beyond and think about how can we go even further. So great work with the 90-90 challenge. That's been really, really awesome.
Hi, this is Sabrina, and I'm from staff HR services at the university. First of all, I want to say thank you to all you students. You do wonderful work. You make the university and the staff proud, and it's always good to work on projects when you come in and engage with us. So I just want to let you know how much we appreciate you. I'm wondering, though, how do you incorporate the positive energizer concept into your own personal lives?
Yeah, this is a fantastic question. So I was not familiar with the Positive Energizer initiative or program or anything like that before meeting people from BNF. But I think that some key practices that overlap between the PE initiative and what we learn in Magnify are just simple practices of gratitude. So ever since learning about how important showing and giving and receiving gratitude is I started a gratitude journal. Every single morning I do a little 5-minute practice where I write what I'm thankful for, something that I want to focus on, and something that I will let go of from the past just to keep it in the past, something that maybe has been bothering me and things like that. I think just doing these little things, I know Juliana and everyone else has emphasized how important little things are. So doing this little thing every morning gets me aligned and centered for the day. And a lot of what PEs can do for a program is to help focus on these tiny things that can just make somebody's day so much better.
To second that, one thing that I've really tried to do is kind of adopt the PE attitude of gratitude and strength sharing with some of my friends. I've got friends back from high school that I've been reaching out to a lot in quarantine. Just basically reaching out to them, telling them how thankful I am for them, and just telling them what I see in them that really inspires me and how they've had a positive impact on my life. And it's kind of like rekindled a lot of these old friendships that we had.
Yeah, and we already talked about the impact of PEs, but it's just one of those things where the university is a serious organization and BNF is a very serious organization. I think before talking to BNF and before coming into the Magnify program, I kind of saw these positive practices as kind of woo-woo and far-fetched, and I didn't really understand how it would actually make a positive impact and actually make you work better, work harder, think of yourself and your team in a more positive way. But yeah, just like incorporating these strategies wherever we go, if we can, if people aren't bummers. But yeah, I hope to be a positive energizer in my own role wherever I am, wherever we go. I think all of us have that same mindset.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I before Magnify, I've had opportunities to be positive and other lessons about being positive and being an energizer. But I think what has really been impactful for me in the work that we've done together is kind of extending thriving from, the idea of thriving you typically kind of associate with an individual experience. What you guys have been able to do is take that individual experience and influence others in a way that is so impactful. And, we talk about ampliative cycles in class, and, you by cultivating thriving in yourselves and being able to spread that to others, it's just unlocking more resources for both collective and individual thriving. So I guess to answer the question, I guess I try to, with the Positive Energizer and learning about you guys, think about thriving and how I can help others thrive and how I can energize others, instead of just focusing on what I need to do to thrive.
Any other questions? We are happy to answer.
We are open books.
If you guys want to think about something, or well, we have a couple minutes left. Just want to thank everybody in the Office for Organizational Culture, Priya, Amy, Tina. I don't know if Aaliyah's here, but we've been really inspired by the work that you do and the passion that you have for all this. And you've been very fun to work with, and we hope this is not the end, between our relationship. But thank you guys for everything.
Yeah.
Yes, and I also just want to shout out something I saw in the chat. Maggie said that she is recommending Magnify to incoming students that she knows who are going to Michigan. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say have them reach out to us if they have any questions. I'm pretty sure Priya will send out all our contact information if they have any questions about Michigan, being a Michigan student, the Magnify program, literally anything. We're happy to talk to anybody who would like to know more.
I love email, so please send it out.
So I see Maggie has another question. What is a profound thing you've found out about another member of your Magnify team during this process? Great question. What haven't we found out, honestly? I think for me, at least I can say just working late at night, 5 to 6 hour stretches of just being on a Zoom call with the 5 of us is the absolute peak of my week. I think we're just such an entertaining group together. Like, you know, behind the scenes, we just are very candid, make tons of jokes. I found 4 new great friends, and I'm really excited to keep it going when we return to campus. Yeah.
Yeah, just to piggyback. Oh, I don't mean.
No, go
just
ahead.
To piggyback off of that, I guess I was a little nervous about presenting, presenting and just engaging in a virtual environment. And I've been, and this is a testament to kind of the great interviews that we've had with you all, but I've been surprised by how easy it's been to interact and to create relationships in this virtual environment. I mean, we're presenting to you, but I feel like we all kind of know each other from our interviews. I guess what I've learned, throughout all this is that people are meant to connect, and whatever way that we can do that, whether it's virtual or in person, given the circumstances, that's what people are going to gravitate to. And it's been really inspiring to create these relationships, even though we're distanced.
Yeah, to build on that, one profound thing that I learned about my teammates, so there's this quote that I used to have in like my journal back when I was back in middle school. Fun fact, really open right now. Teams are why Batman works alone. Because let's be frank, a lot of times team experiences are really hard because not everyone's contributing, not everyone's fully on board. And frankly, I've never had like a perfect team experience, but getting to work with this lovely group of individuals, it's just crazy that everyone pulled their weight and everyone was fully committed. Everyone was totally on board. So it was just profound that something like this could work. Something like this could happen.